We have here a series of 3 graphs and 3 scatter graphs. For each scatter graph, there's a trend. We can see the trend of this graph is going to pretty much follow the trend of these points, the trend of this graph similarly, the trend of this graph similarly. And these graphs aren't related to these graphs. Okay, here we actually have curves. And the question I pose for each of the first 3 graphs is how well can each graph be represented by a power function. And I'll tell you that at least one of the graphs should be pretty well represented, at least reasonably well represented by a power function. And at least one of the graphs will clearly not be representable by a power function. And then we answer the same for the trend of each of these graphs. And what I would do is I would sketch a trend line. Okay, not a line that goes from the first point to the last point, but a line that follows the trend of the data. This could be important real-world data, and we want to see what the trend is and judge whether that trend might reasonably be well represented by a power function. So that's the question, and I'm going to leave it at that. In a subsequent video, I'll give a few hints, and eventually I'll give you at least a solution for at least one of the problems up here and one of the graphs down here.